You're welcome to Afroturk TV.
Thanks a lot.
How do you assess the current state of relations between Turkey and Ghana and even Africa in general?
In general, when we look at the current state between Ghana and Turkey, and for that matter to the larger continent, which is Africa, compared to the days we schooled in Turkey over here, we say it's far, far better. In fact, I would even say it cannot be compared. Because at that time, when we had just one or two Turkish businessmen in Ghana, for example, these days we have over 800 companies that are currently active in Ghana and close to 1,000 Turkish families. So you can see that, yes, the relationship is stronger. This is in terms of, let's say, human flow. And in terms of business too, in the past, when we were talking about, let's say, $1 billion for the whole of Africa, now we are talking in terms of $40 billion for Africa. It means economically it is becoming stronger. During our time when we came here for education, in terms of education, between Ghana and Turkey, we used to come as 10 students maximum in a year, sometimes 1 or 2 students. I'm talking about in the year 98, thereabout. But now, in a year, through the Yetebe project, we can get up to 50 or even above 50 students coming from only Ghana. So therefore, the relationship between Ghana and Turkey has improved, exponentially, academically, economically, and then even, I would say, culturally. In terms of culture, in the past, it was very hard for you to get any edifice that belonged to Turkey in Africa or in Ghana specifically. But currently, we have a model of Sultan Ahmed, the Blue Mosque, that is in Istanbul. We have a similar one of it as the National Mosque of Ghana, that is in the heart of the capital city of Ghana. It is just about 100 meters square smaller as compared to the Sultan Ahmed. The same structure is in Ghana. So that tells you the cultural bond between Ghana and Turkey as well.
So even much more than what we have now, we understand that you as well, you came here as a student. What do you think can be done to further strengthen the culture and, the education relationship that has been established?
Definitely, what can be done to further strengthen the relationship is to increase the effort in those areas that are already helping us. We used to come here as, let's say, 5 or 10 students, and currently Yetebe is doing over 50. When we increase this number, then in terms of academic flow and in terms of education between the two countries, and that is actually, I can say, that is the iron rods, the major thing within the pillar or within the link. If there is education, if you find so many people who can understand the two cultures and who can understand the two languages, bridging between the two countries, it will be easier for us to develop any link at all that we want. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to actually develop some common MOUs, which some of them already exist, activating the existing one and bringing on board newer MOUs that will strengthen business economics. Because business is the soul of every relationship. If there is money and economically we are stronger, all the other ones will come in. Now the Turkish government is bringing students here for them to learn, giving them scholarship. If we have our own means, it means some will also move from Africa or from Ghana to this place without even scholarship to come in school in very rare areas in Africa like medicine, engineering, and so forth and so on. So it means that in terms of business, whatever we can do to increase our business strength, we should do to ensure that these relationships become stronger. There are several incentives that the continent and the country as Ghana is embarking or enrolling for Turkish businessmen to benefit. using your platform and other platform to let the Turkish businessmen become aware of these incentives is very important. And then the Turkish government also giving reciprocal incentives to these businessmen to help them come to Africa or come to Ghana to invest is also very important. All in all, if we can motivate even our politicians and our government members to visit each other, it will, anytime government visit each other or politicians visit other places, definitely there will be so many MOUs. These are the platform, the common platforms that they come together. And these MOUs will go a longer way to help. So the businessmen are doing their best. People like you, the media, you're doing your best, and the governments are also doing their best, but they are the major link. And for that matter, we think when they step up with some of their incentives, they add more incentives, it will strengthen the relationship. Now, I said that there are certain incentives that we as a country, Ghana, we have already enrolled, that we would want the Turkish businessmen to become aware. We have the 24-hour economy, that we want the industrialization of our country and the continent shouldn't be limited to only 8 hours in a day. It should go beyond that. And our factories and our industry should be able to work within the day and then within the night and run shifts as we find in other developed countries like Turkey. And whoever, any company at all that want to go into this particular form of production is given so many set of incentives in Ghana, ranging from tax holidays, reductions of tax, and so forth and so on. Beyond that, we have certain areas that as a country and even as a continent that has been declared that when you do investment in those particular areas, you can export your goods with several incentives to all the other African countries. For example, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area is a very good policy for any investor at all who want to come and produce in one country of Africa and then export to all other countries of Africa without so many taxes or without paying much custom duties. And the headquarters of this particular policy and this particular act is in Ghana, the headquarters in Ghana. And Ghana is one of the zones that have also been declared so that if you produce your things there, you can export it to all the other African countries. We have so many tax holidays in the field of construction, in the field of agriculture, and even in the field of industry. So on this note, it means that if you help us as a media platform to let your businessmen be aware of these things and let them also be aware that we are open for any discussion at all so that they can come for more inquiries, then we can motivate them to go to Ghana. And our special plea to the Turkish government is that whoever wants to especially invest in the field of industry, the country should support. We give tax holidays and free importation to whoever wants to import an equipment that he is going to use it to set up an industry in Ghana. So if the Turkish government should also give the same thing to those particular companies and perhaps maybe reduce the cost of, they should subsidize some of the cost of the machines and the cost of things that their own businessmen are carrying outside from here to Africa and they are carrying to Ghana. If they reduce it, then it will make it easier for them. In terms of rent, if the Turkish government should also help their investors, support them to subsidize and help them pay some of the rents of their companies, facilities that they want to rent in countries that they want to do investment, I think is something that will motivate the Turkish investor. Double taxations, MOUs, these are things that are sensitive areas, and I know each country, we both also need it, but it definitely will have to go through so many platforms of consultations before it comes to bear and then it comes to execution. Okay.
Yeah, so finally, how do you assess the presence of a channel like Afroturk TV, which is basically aimed at strengthening the relationship that we have with Africa and Turkey? How do you assess the presence of a channel like this?
You may see Afro TV to be strengthening the relationship between Turkey and Africa, but it goes beyond that one. Because even the relationship between African countries, Afro TV is a means to strengthening that one. Somebody in country A in Africa and another person in country B or C or Z in Africa may not be aware of each other's fields of activities and may not be aware of each other's strength that they can complement each other with. It is through Afro TV that sometimes we sit down in Africa, in your country, you get to know that another country is there that is actually producing what you need to complement your effort in terms of industry in your own country, and you get up and go there. So Afro TV goes beyond only marketing Turkey in Africa, but then marketing African countries to each other, and for that matter, increasing the relationship, trade bonds, economic bonds, social and cultural bonds between African countries.
Thank you so much for granting us this interview.
Thanks a lot.